The top 10 most interesting biblical facts about Lucifer today. We will delve into the depths of biblical texts to unravel the 10 most intriguing facts about Lucifer. Facts that will not only shed light on lesser-known aspects of his narrative but also challenge our perceptions and invite us to look beyond the obvious. Are you ready to discover Lucifer's deepest secrets? Join us on this revealing exploration. Number 10. The End of Lucifer. In the mystical confines of celestial narrative unfolds the end of Lucifer, that fallen archangel, known as the morning star, Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 12, narrated through the sacred pages. This end is but the consummation of a divine plan, a story inscribed since the foundation of the world, where each letter and each word resonates with the authority of the scriptures. Condemned to eternal punishment in the lake of fire, prepared for the devil and his angels, Matthew, chapter 25, verse 41, Lucifer's fate is not just a grim testimony of his role as the adversary in the eternal contest between light and darkness but also the irrevocable seal of divine justice. This design not only proclaims the end of the angelic rebellion, begun in the heavens, but also preludes the promise of a new heaven and a new earth, where God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain. Revelation, chapter 21, verse 4. Lucifer's fall, described as the one who did weaken the nations, Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 12, not only highlights his defeat in the celestial game of thrones but also illuminates the path towards hope and comfort for humanity. In this final act, we see reflected the ultimate victory of light over shadows, a resonant echo of the triumph of the Lamb, he who was slain from the foundation of the world. Revelation, chapter 13, verse 8. Thus, as the curtain falls on this episode, we are invited to reflect on the unbreakable sovereignty of divine grace and love. Lucifer's narrative, tinted with rebellion and redemption, is not just a tale of judgment and mercy but also a vibrant testimony to the divine promise of eternal restoration and peace. In this eschatological tale, every believer finds a call to vigilance and faith, always remembering that greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. 1 John, chapter 4, verse 4. Thus, amidst life's tribulations and challenges, the story of Lucifer and his announced end becomes a song of hope, an invitation to gaze towards the dawn of a new day, promised and assured by the unchangeable word of the Creator. Number 9. Symbolism and artistic representation. In the genesis of art and literature, Lucifer emerges as a morning star. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning! Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 12. A being of sublime beauty and great wisdom. But as in the book of life, pride precedes the fall. His desire to rise above the stars of God led him to the deepest of falls, transforming him into a symbol of the eternal struggle between light and darkness, good and evil, submission and rebellion. Artists throughout the centuries have contemplated this duality, capturing in their works the fallen majesty of this cherub. From Renaissance depictions that emphasized his angelic nature and tragic fall to modern interpretations where his figure intertwines with the human condition, reflecting the shadows and lights of our own existence. In literature, Lucifer has been the quintessential anti-hero, the celestial rebel whose story is told with laments and warnings, but also with an inescapable fascination. John Milton, in his monumental work, Paradise Lost, gives him voice and character, presenting him as a complex and multifaceted figure whose discourse resonates with the eternal question of freedom, predestination, and morality. Music, that celestial language, has not been immune to Lucifer's figure. Composers from the most remote times have found in him a tragic muse, a source of inspiration that allows them to explore the darkest and brightest corners of the human soul. From operas and symphonies to modern rock and metal, Lucifer resonates in chords that are both disturbing and sublime, a reflection of his eternal duality. Number 8. The influence in the world. Lucifer, whose name resonates with the echoes of a now darkened bearer of light, has become the emblem of seduction and moral corruption. His presence is a constant narrative of temptation, a persistent whisper seeking to divert humanity from its divinely traced path. This influence is not trivial. It is a force that requires recognition and understanding, for to underestimate it would be to ignore a fundamental part of the spiritual struggle that permeates human existence. The Bible, in books like Ezekiel, chapter 28, verse 17, reflects this duality by describing Lucifer's transformation. "Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness." Here, we see not just the fall of an angel but the rise of an influence that weaves through human history as a constant warning of how beauty and power can lead astray. The New Testament is not alien to this narrative. Jesus' temptation in the desert, recounted in Matthew, chapter 4, verses 1 to 11, is a direct testimony to the persistent challenge that Lucifer represents. The devil's offer of all the kingdoms of the world in exchange for worship is not just a test of Jesus' faith but also a vivid illustration of how promises of power and glory can divert human beings from their true purpose and alliance with the divine. This representation of Lucifer not only acknowledges the palpable presence of evil in the fabric of the world but also emphasizes the constant struggle between the forces of light and darkness, good and evil. It is a struggle not waged only in the celestial realm but in every human heart, in every decision that weighs between integrity and corruption, between altruistic love and destructive selfishness. In this narrative, Lucifer's figure is a reminder of the vigilance necessary to navigate life. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8 eloquently states it, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." The resistance against the forces seeking to divert humanity from its essential path is not only a battle but also an invitation to deepen in faith, understanding, and the practice of love and justice that define the essence of the Christian message. Number 7. The War in Heaven. In the biblical narrative, the war in heaven unfolds as a monumental cosmic confrontation, culminating in the expulsion of Lucifer and his rebellious angels from the celestial paradise. Lucifer, whose name once symbolized the portentous light of dawn, becomes the supreme emblem of rebellion against divinity, as recounted in Revelation, chapter 12, verses 7 to 9. This section of the scriptures immerses us in the battle led by the archangel Michael against the dragon, the ancient serpent known as the devil and Satan, who is defeated and cast down to earth along with his followers. This act not only marks the beginning of Lucifer's fall but also symbolizes the beginning of his terrestrial dominion, deceiving and tempting humanity from his exile. Lucifer's figure, throughout the scriptures, embodies the duality of being God's most splendid creation and his most formidable adversary. His fall, described in terms of a celestial struggle, reflects deep truths about the nature of evil and the eternal conflict between light and darkness. The transformation of Lucifer into Satan is emblematic of a fundamental transgression, representing the perpetual fight against the forces of evil that seek to subvert divine order and harmony. The promise of victory over this eternal evil is found in Romans, chapter 16, verse 20, where it is anticipated that the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly, offering hope and redemption. This verse not only forecasts Lucifer's ultimate fate but also assures the faithful that, despite temptations and trials, the supremacy of good is secured by divine providence. Lucifer's story, from his rebellion to his announced defeat, reminds us of the mercy and justice of a God who, in the end, restores order and peace, leading creation back to its original state of perfection. Number 6. Lucifer as Satan. In the biblical narrative, Lucifer initially emerges in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verses 12 to 15, where his fall from heaven due to his arrogance is described, symbolizing the fall of the king of Babylon. This account, though specifically directed at a historical context, has been interpreted by Christian tradition as the representation of Satan's fall, the angel who defied divine authority and was expelled from celestial paradise. "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? "Thou art cut down to the ground," which did weaken the nations, reflects not just the fall of a celestial being but also the eternal struggle between pride and humility. The figure of Satan is intertwined throughout the scriptures, from the celestial accuser in the book of Job to the tempter in the Gospels and the great adversary in Revelation. This evolution of Lucifer to Satan is not based on an explicit link within the biblical texts but on an interpretive development that took root in the early centuries of Christianity, where figures like Saint Jerome and Saint Augustine saw in him the personification of rebellion against God. This reinterpretation of Lucifer as the divine adversary, Satan, offers a profound reflection on the human condition. A constant battle between light and darkness, pride and humility. Lucifer's transformation into a symbol of eternal defiance invites the faithful to contemplate the importance of grace and repentance. Thus, Lucifer's tale is not just a story of fall but also a reminder of the divine mercy available to those who seek redemption, encapsulating the mysteries of faith and redemption at the heart of the biblical narrative. Number 5. The Serpent of Eden. The Serpent of Eden, commonly associated with Lucifer, represents the beginning of the battle between good and evil according to the biblical narrative. Lucifer, mentioned in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 15, symbolizes pride and rebellion against God, qualities that lead to his fall from heaven. This character not only embodies the temptation in the Garden of Eden, persuading Eve to disobey God, but also establishes itself as an eternal symbol of defiance against divinity. The connection of the serpent with the devil is clarified in the book of Revelation chapter 12 verse 9, where it is directly identified as Satan, the deceiver of the whole world, marking its central role in Christian theodicy. The act of temptation in Eden, facilitated by the serpent, not only initiates the theological concept of original sin, described in Romans chapter 5, verses 12 to 21, but also underscores the human need for redemption. This incident highlights the sinful nature inherent to humanity and the redemptive mission of Jesus Christ, presented as the new Adam whose sacrifice offers salvation and eternal life to fallen humanity. The story of the fall is, therefore, intrinsically linked to the promise of restoration and hope. Thus, the figure of the Serpent of Eden, intrinsically linked to Lucifer, becomes a vehicle for exploring themes of disobedience, fall, and redemption. Through this narrative, the Christian faith articulates the human struggle against sin and temptation, while highlighting the sovereignty and grace of God in his salvation plan. Number 4. Ezekiel, chapter 28, and the description of an earthly king. The passage from Ezekiel, chapter 28, at first glance directed at an earthly king, subtly intertwines with the story of Lucifer, a being of unparalleled splendor whose fall from divine favor becomes a powerful archetype of pride and rebellion. By describing the king adorned with jewels and dwelling in Eden, the text evokes the image of Lucifer, created in perfection and beauty, but consumed by his own pride, leading to his fall. This narrative is complemented by references from other parts of the scriptures, like Isaiah chapter 14 verse 12, where the fall of Lucifer, son of the morning, a verse that, though directed at the king of Babylon, has been interpreted over the centuries as an allusion to Lucifer's fall. Lucifer's story is not explicitly detailed in the Bible, but it has been inferred from passages like Ezekiel, chapter 28, and Isaiah, chapter 14, becoming a fascinating narrative about the fall of one of the most magnificent beings in creation. This tale serves as an eternal warning about the dangers of pride and self-deification, showing how even beings created in great beauty and power can lose everything by turning away from divine designs. The mention of Eden and the stones of fire in Ezekiel, along with the fallen figure of Lucifer in Isaiah, reinforces the idea that pride precedes the fall, both in heaven and on earth. This duality between the fall of an earthly king and that of Lucifer offers a rich reflection on themes of pride, power, and redemption. Through Lucifer's story, we are reminded that the pursuit of glory outside God's will leads to ruin, and that even in greatness, we can find our own downfall if we do not maintain humility and fidelity. Ezekiel chapter 28 and Isaiah chapter 14 not only narrate the fall of powerful figures but also invite us to meditate on our own lives, challenging us to consider how our actions and pride can distance us from the divine and, ultimately, from our true essence and purpose. Number 3. Lucifer in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 15. The story of Lucifer, as narrated in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 15, is a captivating tale of fall and pride, masterfully encapsulated in the image of the Lucifer, son of the morning, plummeting from heaven. This biblical fragment, beginning with the powerful exclamation, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning," introduces us to the celestial drama of a being who, intoxicated by the desire to surpass his station, aspires to position himself at the same level as the Most High. The designation, Lucifer, reflects not only his original position of splendor and honor but also the tragic turn towards the fall due to pride and ambition. Verses 13 and 14 unveil the essence of this tragedy, revealing the heart of Lucifer's challenge. "I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will be like the Most High." These words not only underscore a rebellion against divine authority but also serve as a profound reflection on the inherent dangers of unchecked pride and the quest for absolute power. Lucifer's ambition to climb the heavens and usurp a place among God's stars encapsulates the fatal arrogance that precipitates his fall. Finally, verse 15 seals Lucifer's fate with his banishment to Sheol, marking not just the end of his attempt at rebellion but also his transformation into an eternal symbol of the fall by pride. "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit." With this sentence, Isaiah's narrative transcends the story of an earthly king to address universal themes of ambition, defiance, and the quest for power leading to ruin. Number 2. The Fall of Lucifer. The figure of Lucifer, originating from the biblical scriptures and depicted with notable drama in the Latin Vulgate, embodies the duality of being a light-bearer and, simultaneously, the archetype of celestial fall. His story, rooted in the verses of Isaiah chapter 14 verse 12, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning," and complemented by the allegories of pride and excess in Ezekiel chapter 28 verses 12 to 17, outlines the decline of a being created at the pinnacle of perfection, who succumbs to pride, seeking to usurp a status comparable to that of the Creator. Lucifer's fall has become a profound symbol of rebellion against divine authority, serving as a reflection on the limits of ambition and the price of disobedience. The transition of Lucifer from a being of light to one of darkness is reflected in his attempt to rise above the clouds, as mentioned in Isaiah, an act of arrogance culminating in his expulsion to the abyss. This episode highlights the tension between the magnificence granted by God and the resulting fall from the desire to surpass that predetermined greatness, thus illustrating a tragedy of cosmic proportions that resonates through the ages. Lucifer's narrative, enriched by these verses and their interpretation throughout history, invites meditation on the nature of pride, power, and fall. His figure, eternally intertwined with themes of light and darkness, stands as a reminder of the consequences of pride and defiance against the divine, offering to the faithful and curious a story that transcends the sacred text to become a parable about the human condition and its perpetual struggle between exaltation and humility. Number 1. Lucifer, the Lightbearer. Lucifer, known as the Lightbearer, emerges from the biblical scriptures, particularly in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 12, where he is symbolically described as a morning star that has fallen from heaven. This verse, though originally directed at a proud Babylonian king, has been reinterpreted throughout Christian history to represent the fall of Satan, a being of celestial splendor transformed into a symbol of rebellion and darkness. This narrative is enriched by the vision of Jesus in Luke chapter 10 verse 18, where he describes Satan falling, like lightning, from heaven, reinforcing the image of a dramatic fall from divine grace. The paradox of Lucifer as a beautifully created and luminous being, now associated with darkness, reflects a deep theme about the dual nature of existence and the tragic irony of his destiny. Through his fall, caused by pride and the quest for a position equal or superior to that of his creator, Lucifer embodies the eternal struggle between light and darkness, good and evil. This contrast serves as a reminder of the consequences of pride and rebellion against divine authority, highlighting in turn God's justice and sovereignty. The story of Lucifer, beyond being a lesson on the fall caused by pride, invites a deeper reflection on our own choices and the constant search for light amidst darkness. The narrative of his descent from grace to eternal punishment not only reveals the mysteries of Christian theology but also offers meditation on universal themes of redemption, repentance, and the possibility of divine mercy. Thus, Lucifer's saga becomes a captivating exploration of the human condition, marked by the struggle between humility and self-exaltation.